Following the death of King Robert Baratheon and the arrest of Lord Eddard Stark in King's Landing, war erupts. House Lannister invades the riverlands and causes the Riverlords to scatter, while placing River Run under siege. Lord Tywin Lannister occupies the crossroads near the Ruby Ford and waits to observe the responses of Houses Arryn and Stark. Tywin anticipates that House Frey, who controls the crossing over the Green Fork, will remain neutral. Robb Stark summons the northern troops and sets out from Winterfell to save his father. Upon learning from Sir Adam Marbrand's scouts that Robb is on the causeway, Tywin commands Adam to lure the northerners further south, while he himself takes his army northward on the King's Road east of the Green Fork to engage them. After crossing south of the Neck, Catelyn Stark, Robb's mother, convinces Lord Walder Frey to ally with Robb. This alliance opens the way over the Green Fork at the Twins. Robb divides his army into two groups, as he doesn't want to risk everything in a single battle against Tywin. Lord Roose Bolton leads the foot and a small portion of the cavalry, marching south on the King's Road to engage Tywin. Meanwhile, Robb himself commands the rest of the cavalry and crosses the river to the west, hoping to lift the siege of Riverrun by taking Tywin's son, Sir Jaime Lannister, by surprise. Adam's outriders have informed Tywin that the Freys have joined the Starks. Together, they are marching south on the King's Road. However, Sir Brynden Tully's men have killed some of Adam's scouts. This has prevented the Lannisters from knowing that Robb's host split at the Twins. The Stark army, led by Lord Roose Bolton, executed a strategic move to surprise the Lannister army. They marched throughout the night, while the Westermen assumed that the Northmen were still a day's march away. The Stark army arrived before dawn, catching the Lannisters off guard. The majority of the army consisted of foot soldiers with a minor cavalry contingent. The Lannister army is preparing to face the Northmen, and has arranged itself in an order of battle. Sir Kevan Lannister commands 10,000 men in the center, with Lords Lefford, Liddon, and Serret at his side, along with 300 heavy horse. His foot archers are arranged in 3 long lines to the east and west of the King's Road. Between the archers are squares of pikemen, and behind them are ranks of men at arms wielding axes, swords, and spears. On the right side, Sir Adam Marbrand commands 4,000 knights and other heavy lancers, including Sir Flemont Brax and members of houses Crakehall, Swift, and other families. The vanguard on the left is commanded by Sir Gregor Clegane, which consists of 1,000 entirely mounted men, including freeriders, sellswords, and raw field hands and small folk from Lannisport. The vanguard also includes Tyrion Lannister, his sellsword Bronn, and his 300 Vale Mountain clansmen, who are considered savages by the nobles. From the high ground of a hilltop, Lord Tywin Lannister commands the reserve of 5,000 men, half mounted and half afoot. Tywin has placed his poorly disciplined soldiers on the left, with the intention to lure the inexperienced Stark commander, Robb Stark, into committing too many troops there. Tywin hopes that the Lannister vanguard will overpower the Stark troops, and the Starks will attempt to flank him. Tywin then plans for Kevan and the center to pivot towards the left, and attack the northern troops from the flank, pushing them towards the Green Fork. Prior to the battle, Gregor commands Tyrion to defend the vanguard's left flank along the riverfront. As the horns and trumpets start blaring, the battle commences. The vanguard, under Tywin's orders, charged forward. With the vanguard leading the way, Tywin seizes the opportunity to order his archers to fire on the northerners' right flank, causing chaos and confusion among their ranks. The barrage of arrows raining down on the Bolton's host takes its toll, and many men fall to the ground, never to rise again. Meanwhile, the vanguard clashes head-on with the northern right flank. The armored veterans fighting under the leadership of Gregor Clegane display their exceptional skills, breaking through the shield wall of the Karstark spearmen. The clansmen led by Tyrion Lannister then follow through the breach, charging into the fray with the ferocity of lions. Realizing the danger of the situation, Roose Bolton orders a part of his center to this area to steady the line and prevent a complete rout of his forces. However, sensing the opportunity to strike, Kevan Lannister sends his heavy horsemen, and some of his infantry to crush the weakened northern right flank. The overwhelming force of the Lannister centers pushed jams the Stark forces against the river and hills behind the battlefield, leaving them with little room to maneuver. As the battle raged on, the Westerland Knights led by Marbrand charged on the right flank, their 4,000-strong cavalry unit overwhelming the Stark infantry formation stationed at this side of the field. The Stark soldiers fought with valor, but they were no match for the sheer force of the charging horses and the skilled riders. The cavalry swept the enemy away, leaving a trail of chaos and destruction in their wake. After securing their victory on the right flank, the Westerland Knights charged towards the left, joining forces with the rest of their army. Together, they closed in on the northern forces with a fierce determination to crush them. The battle was brutal and unforgiving, with many soldiers falling on both sides. However, despite suffering heavy losses, the Northern Army managed to hold their ground under the leadership of Roose Bolton. With the situation becoming increasingly dangerous, Bolton realized that a tactical retreat was the only option. He managed to steady his troops and ordered a retreat north, taking a large portion of his army with him. During the battle, Roose Bolton's army lost several thousand men, including Lord Hawley's Hornwood. Lannister Army also took several people captive, including Lord Medgar Serwyn, Harrion Karstark, Sir Wylies Manderly, Sir Donal Locke, Sir Jared Frey, Sir Hostine Frey, Sir Danwell Frey, and Ronal Rivers. The Lannisters learned from their captives that the Northern Army had split at the Twins, and that Robb Stark was heading towards Riverrun. Instead of pursuing Bolton's army as it retreated north, Lord Tywin Lannister led his own army on a forced march south to aid his son, Sir Jaime Lannister.